Hello YouTube, Dave here again. Today I'm going to be unboxing the Alien Evolved Edition or Second Edition starter set, subtitled Hope's Last Day. So this was one of the items that was done for the Kickstarter. In tomorrow's video I'm going to be doing an unboxing for the Rapture Protocol scenario and the miniature set. I think I'll do those together. And I will have my review of the Alien Evolved Edition coming out sometime in the near future. If you've been following the channel over the last few days, it is currently Wednesday, October 29th. And since Sunday, I've been dealing with a cold. And it's a little bit in my sinuses. It's not too bad. The throat's just a tidbit scratchy. But the main symptom that I'm just being stuck with right now is the aches, and the fatigue is really bad. So we're going to try to get through this here. So we have the copy of the starter set here. I did do the unboxing to show everything that I received. I did order extra starter sets, one to keep as a sealed collectible, and then others that I was planning on doing a giveaway for when I run this at a local event. And I, did the unboxing of the main thing. The box did have some damage on it. The big shipping box that came did have some damage, which I was a little bit concerned about, and I probably should have been, because I looked at the fronts, I looked at the corners, but I didn't look at the back of everything. So I contacted Free League's customer support. I sent them a picture of this, and basically asked if there's a way that they could replace it. I said I'd be more than willing to send this one back to them. They got back to me telling me not to worry about sending it back. I can do whatever I want with it. So I'm going to be opening this one in this video as well, just to make sure that nothing inside ended up getting damaged. I don't think anything inside probably did, but just to be on the safe side. But we're going to do the proper opening with the copy that should be in perfect shape here first. So, again, we got the really cool artwork on the front there. We've got the characters with their Wildcat or whatever it's called in the background there. So it's like a survey team on LV-426. This is like the prequel event to the movie Aliens. This is right when they lose contact with the colony. This is sort of filling in the steps there. And Hope's Last Day was a single act scenario that was in the original core rulebook for the first edition Alien game, which I've run a few times, but I've always altered the ending to have like a chase sequence with the players running away from a newly formed xenomorph queen. However, with the starter set, they've actually turned the scenario into a full 3-act one with personal agendas and everything else. So it'll be interesting to run this sort of as is and see how it turns out. Taking a look at the back here of the box, you do see the contents that are included in here. You got the character sheets, and everything's presented in the new second edition format, which is white or off-white pages with green instead of with a dark green, instead of black with green lettering and stuff, which is cool looking, but I prefer the white pages overall. And this comes with a set of dice. It comes with the stress dice and the base dice. 5 pre-generated characters. And it comes with a Xenomorph Mini. That was one of the stretch goals from the Kickstarter, was to include a miniature in there. There's also a supply dial that was part of the stretch goals as well. So we'll talk about that a little bit more, but they've kind of expanded what things use, how some of the resources are used, including the fact that they've put ammunition in weapons now. So in the original first edition, you didn't worry about ammo at all unless you panicked, and then if you panicked while firing a weapon, you just discharged, you spent your clip or whatever. Now, if you had something like a 6-shooter revolver, then you had limited shots, and there were other things that were single-shot items. But for anything that was magazine-fed, you didn't have to worry about it. And if you were a synthetic, you never ran out of ammo because synthetics never panic. So that's kind of game breaking. So what they decided to do is when you use your weapon now, you would roll for your ammo count the same way you would for like air supply or like batteries on things like motion trackers and stuff. So you'd roll a number of stress dice equal to the ammo rating, and for any one that you roll, you reduce the rating. So it means that you don't necessarily have to worry about running out right away, but you can at any time, regardless of whether you are a human or a synthetic. So we've got that there. The plastic, I don't want to leave it on the floor in case the puppy comes down. So I guess I'll just tuck it in my pocket for now. But yeah, I've been waiting for this. I've been really looking forward to this. So let's go ahead and get this opened. And here we are. Okay. We got our silica gel desiccates here. And this would be, I guess, for completing the supply dial. There is our Xenomorph Mini. I do apologize, my ring light died on me. Just the cord that runs down to the plug there, it's pretty flimsy. So I have another light on order. But yeah, I mean, that's a pretty nice looking Mini. You can see like the rib detail there, the pointed tail. Now, I guess my question is, which type of Xenomorph do you prefer? Do you prefer the smooth dome or the ridge dome? Now, myself personally, I actually prefer the ridge dome look. But this is still a really cool looking Mini nonetheless. And it does, whoop, didn't mean to hit the camera there. And it does come in its own little... case there, which is really, really nice. Oh, okay. So the cards actually come in, and I think the box was also a stretch goal, but I thought it was going to be one of those ones that was just flat, and you have to fold it up yourself. We'll take a look at those in a moment. Then we got our set of 10 base dice, and our set of 10 stress dice. Now you can buy these dice separately, but they are, I think they're around $15 to $20. On their own, and I'm talking Canadian prices because I don't know what the US prices are, but these starter sets are basically worth it for these dice pretty much alone. And you do get like the really cool Xenomorph Mini. We've got our games catalog, which I flipped through on several different videos, and we've got our tokens and our universal supply dial. So well, that just fell right out. That's good. They're punched out well, so like they don't rip and tear. And we're just going to go ahead and put this together right now. Also like that these things come in, like the dice and everything come in like these Ziploc bags. Let me just get this to come out. There we go. So the assembly is pretty basic. You just take the plastic piece, and then you insert it on the back, and then the other plastic piece, and again, it's probably going to be hard to zoom in on this, but that just snaps into place. And now you've got your supply wheel. So, for example, if you had a weapon with an ammo count of 2 and you go to use it, when you're done, I think when you're done firing, I'd have to check the timing, but I'm pretty sure it's after you use it, you would roll stress dice equal to its ammo rating. And, so let's just say, I can't roll a 1 when I want to. Here, can I? Oh, there we go. So let's just say that that's what you rolled. So you would reduce the ammo count from 2 to 1. And then you would, the next time you fire the weapon, you would roll a single die, and you get to sort of keep doing that until you roll another natural one, which might take a while. So you might get a lot of use out of it, but there we go. So we got a few more shots, a few more uses, then it goes down to 0. So that's basically the way that that works. I think I hit the camera again. I apologize. So that's really cool to see. So there we go, universal supply dial. And then we'll just take a quick look at the other tokens here. So this got a little bit, whoops, this got a little bit of a bend to it, but it's not too bad. Just kind of flex it back there. All right. And we actually have a getting started page, which I don't think we had in the first edition starter set. Oh. Okay. So this is actually kind of neat. So you've got, the getting started, like pick one person to be the game mother, pick one person, pick the other players to, which characters you want. But on the inside is all of the backers who pledged enough to get like a special thanks. And my name is in here, although they wanted just proper names. They didn't want like usernames or gamer tags or stuff like that. So it's in there under my proper name, and I am not going to point it out, but I do want to see. Oh, I think they did it by first name. Okay, I think it's alphabetical by first name, so... Okay, yeah, I found my name in there. So it's in there if you buy the starter set. But again, I'm not going to point it out. I'm not going to draw attention to it. But so if you did the backer where you got to have your name included as a special thank you, it's in the starter set. All right, let's take a look at these cards. I just want to be careful here. I don't want to scratch anything. I'm sure the cards are also sealed inside as well. Oh, they're not actually. Okay, awesome. So the box is sealed. And this is actually really, really cool what they have here. So, we've got stress response. Okay. So we actually have cards for the what happens if you roll a facehugger on like a skill check or something. And what's really cool about the second edition is they've separated the panic from regular stress. So you're not going to roll panic as often. Like, it's going to be a much more rare occurrence. There are things like the first time you encounter a xenomorph, you panic. The first time a xenomorph closes in to like engage range with you, you panic, and things like that. But they regular stress, just from like rolling facehuggers on skill checks on your stress die, they are not nearly as like bad. Potentially, like they'll give you some drawbacks, like you might not be able to allow people to aid you, or you might lose some dice on like certain ability checks and things like that. But it's really, really cool, and I think there's only like one situation where you're where what you're trying to do fails. Oh no, deflated is you can't push skill rolls. So, but they basically made it so that you don't lose your actions as often. Because in the first edition, if you're playing a cinematic scenario, by the time you're like well into the third act, you've likely accumulated so much stress that you can't possibly succeed. Like, you're rolling so many stress dice, and your stress level is so high that you can't possibly get a result that's anything less than you failing the skill roll. And they got the same thing here for the panic response cards. I'm not going to go through every single one. But again, they have ones where you still complete your action. There's other ones where you fail the action altogether. And there's stuff like catatonic. You can also get like mental traumas, which I don't think are in here because I don't think they're in the starter set. But we got some condition cards here. And then we got our personal agendas, which I'm not going to reveal too much of. And then we got our initiative cards, numbered 1 through 10 with a xenomorph on the back. And then our equipment cards. So again, you can see, for example, the pistol has ammo of 2. So that was using like that example from earlier. After you use it, you roll for, you roll number of stress dice equal to your ammo rating. Any ones that you get subtract from your rating. You can still use it until you come down to 0. But then you've got other things like the bolt gun, which specifies that it's single shot. And I think this covers a lot of what's in the core rulebook as well. There's our pulse rifle. Just want to see if they've got an explosive here. Because they did change the way that those work as well, but I don't think there's one. Okay. So in the first game, when you would use something like a rocket launcher or a grenade launcher, you would roll for the attack, but then they had their own blast rating, which is how the amount of dice that you would roll for damage. And it wasn't 100% clear what you would do with the extra successes. And you also had different blast ratings doing damage to things in different zones as well. So they've kind of simplified and they've gamified the way that explosives work. But I think whoops, I gotta stop doing that. But I think it is overall just for the better. Because you roll to hit like you normally would, but extra successes add to the damage, and it's stated very clearly. And instead of rolling 7 dice, you just do 7 damage plus whatever extra successes you have, and everything in the same zone as the target takes that damage. So they made it more simplified, and I know it's not the most realistic approach to the way that like that would actually function, but honestly, that does not bother me at all. I just I'd rather it be something that's really simple and easy to understand than it being something where you constantly are trying to like extrapolate how it works and what it means and things like that. And yeah, so I also kind of look at it as like, maybe these things are also rated for being used on ships or things where they don't want to necessarily punch holes through the hull or something. So anyway, but the box looks really, really nice, same as the core the rules booklet and the core rules book cover. So we'll get that out here. And this is a really nice glossy cover, and it's staple bound instead of glue bound. And if this is anything like the first edition, these rules are essentially copied and pasted from the core rulebook. So I know when I was running, if you're only running cinematic scenarios, this is the only rule book that you'll need. You don't necessarily need the full rule book to run, like, for example, the Rapture Protocol. But it can be helpful if if you want it to be there. Now, I really like that artwork right there. I think it looks super cool. And again, nice and easy to read. White with black text and like green, sidebars or whatever you want to call them, tables, charts. Oh yeah, armor's also been changed so that it's just a base number that subtracts off any damage that you deal. So instead of you rolling a number of d6s equal to the armor rating and each 6 subtracting, You just have armor that, like, it's like armor 1. So anytime you get hit by something, you automatically subtract 1 point of damage from what you would take. So it's, again, it's more simplified, but it works and it's consistent. So I do like that. Then we got our panic response. We have our stress response, I think, earlier on there. So there's the things that can increase your stress level, and the things that can trigger a panic roll. And each character also now has a resolve stat. And so what that means is that when you're rolling to see what happens, you roll your d6 and you add your stress level, but you get to subtract your resolve score from that number. So you can get results that are less than 0, or you can, get ones that are quite high up there. But anyway, still, again, really cool to see. These ones here are fairly similar to... I don't know, they are a bit different from the original first edition one. But it's kind of interesting to see, like, the way that they handle, like, the lose item one. I actually like the way that they handle this. Because if you lose an item in combat, you can just spend one of your actions to pick it up. But if you lose an item while doing a skill roll, instead of, like, just being like, oh, well, it's at my feet, so I pick it back up, it's like, no, you actually have to look around for it. So you have to make an observation roll, and it takes a stretch of time, which I think is 5 to 10 minutes, that you have to spend looking for this thing, which may not always be the best thing in the world. So I like the way that they've handled that as well. I think this is going to be... I loved first edition Alien, but I think this is going to be a... this is definitely going to be the version of the game that I play going forward. Absolutely awesome. And again, some cover art there. I think this was from Destroyer of Worlds, actually, so it's kind of cool to see some of that artwork again. And then for the scenario, we've got the artwork from the box cover. You've got your maps there. And... oh, okay, I thought these maps were going to be separate. I mean, maybe they still are. Because I'm definitely not pulling those out of the book. But anyway, we got some maps there, which is really cool to see. Some nice artwork. We've got rules reference cards. So that can come in really handy as well. Then we've got our... okay, yeah, the maps are separate. Okay. So we got our maps of different locations and Hadley's Hope and the shuttle. We've got a nice big map here. So this has the basically the known space for the Alien universe. And then we've got the colony, the main colony map on the other side. So that is really cool. All right. So that is the Alien RPG starter set. Again, I think Free League has done an absolutely fantastic job with these. Like Free League starter sets are, well and truly sort of like in a league of their own type of thing. I think I'm going to put the rules reference cards up front, though. So we got those. We've got this here. Then we can put this, and then this. Universal Supply. And our Xenomorph figure. Oops. Can't forget about our tokens. Or, definitely don't want to forget about our games catalog there, so we'll put all that back in there. I will put this little baggie back in, just in case. And there you go. So that was the unboxing of this starter set, and just as a little bonus, I do want to take a look at this one here because, like I said, it did get damaged in the shipping. I think everything's going to be fine. Like, I think the contents inside are going to be fine. It's just the box that was damaged, but I do want to double check there because that is a pretty nasty, like it was punched in. So I do worry about that. So I'll move this guy out of the way. And, okay. So it was thrashed around a little bit. Oh my goodness, these dice are all... Yeah, it was definitely thrashed around a little bit. We got our Xenomorph Mini, though. He's fine. The dice are fine. I'll just need to redo them in the bag. And we got that. We got the card set. The silica gel. Tokens. We lost a token somewhere. I'm sure it'll be in there. That's a little crunched up. But I think everything else is okay. What I'm not seeing, though, is that missing token. Which I think was a chest burster. Unless it got into one of the books. No, I don't think so. I might have to look and actually see inside of the box. So it's not the worst in the world. I mean, that got crunched up pretty bad. But the other contents seem to be okay, which is good. We got our maps there. Again, character sheet and reference. So I'm just going to put this stuff back in here for now. I'm actually going to put the books and stuff on top of that. Maybe it'll help flatten that out. So missing a chest burster token is, I guess, not the worst thing in the world compared to sort of the damage that it looked like was in there. Oh, where's my... Oh, there it is. Okay. Games catalog can go back in. That can go back in. I'm just going to fix these dice real quick. So, not as bad as I was, like, kind of fearing. I don't know how it messed up the stress dice so much. Okay. There we go. That looks better. Okay, so not too bad. The main stuff inside isn't damaged, other than the start here and a missing token. I will look inside the big box that came in case that somehow slipped out and found its way into the like the bubble wrapping and all that stuff. But overall, again, I'm really happy with this starter set. I think really did a great job with it. I can't wait to run this at next year's King Con. I'm definitely going to put my name in for that one. And then I'll also run another game that could be a little bit more, all ages, because this one is going to be for, well, actually, is there an age thing on here? Well, age is 14 plus, so that's not too bad, actually. But I'll probably, I might err on the side of caution. We'll see how that goes. But anyway, so there we go. Have you picked up did you support the Kickstarter? Let me know in the comments below. If not, are you looking forward to getting the starter set when it releases for to the general public? When it hits store shelves, let me know that in the comments below. Have you run Hope's Last Day for first edition Alien and are interested to see the changes that have taken place in the starter set? So let me know that in the comments below as well. Anyway, thank you all so very much. Thank you to Free League for your really quick response to the customer support email that I sent. I really appreciate it. and we'll figure out what to do with this box set. I have a friend who he might not be as concerned about the condition of the box. He might be interested in it, so I'll talk to him once I'm feeling better. But anyway, thank you all so very much for your time. I appreciate it. We will see you in the next one. Until then, take care.